and welcome back to whatever this is. Chit-chatting with Nika McLaughlin. Do we like that? Do we hate it? Have you ever noticed that when someone says we need to chat, it's never good news. But when someone says we need to chit-chat, usually good news. All right, welcome back to another rendition of Am I the Axolotl? This is the part of the show where Larry comes out and decides if people are indeed the axolotl. Now, if you're new to this channel, axolotl is codename for something else I can't say on the internet because I don't want to get in trouble with my mom. Don't judge me. Yeah, I'm like 30, maybe 25, definitely 25, but I just don't want to cuss on the internet, okay? Because like, what if I want to be the president of the United States someday and they're like, no, she cussed on the internet. All right, let's get right down to am I the axolotl? You know what's a really fun word to say? Astronautics. Every time I say axolotl, I think about astronautics. They have nothing, literally nothing to do with each other, unless axolotls are aliens, which is totally possible. Okay, let's get to it. Am I the axolotl for saying I'll always take my sister's side over my stepsister's when my mom told me again that I need to pick a side at times? Okay, this is a very wordy title, but it sounds like we're picking the sister side over the stepsister side. So I've never had a stepsister, but I did have a dog. So I totally have wisdom in this subject. All right, let's go. My mom and her husband, Johnny, have tried to create a blended family, but we're not a family. And we're not blended in any kind of way. There's me, 16, okay, and my sister, 13, and my stepsister, 13, and then my mom and Johnny. 10 years ago, rude. 10 years ago, we lost our dad, and 7 years ago, Johnny and his ex got divorced after she left him and my stepsister 9 years ago. My stepsister hasn't seen or heard from her mom since she left. I heard Johnny say before that his ex didn't even show up at most of the divorce hearings. Okay. Anyway, my mom and Johnny met through parents' conferences at my sister and stepsister's school. The two of them knew each other and avoided each other because they didn't like each other. That's like nightmare fuel, like someone that you don't like and then your parents falling for each other. Oh, that would be like, okay, there was this girl, we'll call her Selena, not Selena Gomez. I have no affiliation with Selena Gomez, but we'll call her Selena. And Selena, like, okay, so this one time I wore my hair in a ponytail and I had some of my hair like this much in the front, okay? And she was like,
why do you wear your hair like that?
I was like, cause I'm cool. And also I saw Anastasia do it in the Anastasia movie. And she was
like, well, you should do little pieces in front, not all of that.
You know what was in the very next year? Scene girls would have half of their hair down and the rest in a ponytail. And I started that, I believe it, and she made fun of me. So that would be like her dad marrying my mom. And no, I don't want that in my life. Continuing. My mom and Johnny had no idea until they'd been dating for 8 months and introduced us all. My sister and stepsister refused to talk that whole first meeting. That was 5 years ago. And each time while my mom and Johnny were dating, the same thing happened, but they decided to get married anyway and they brought us to family therapy. The girls said that they wouldn't be sisters with each other, and they wouldn't be friends either. We went for over a year with some of it happening over Zoom because of the pandemic. Family therapy stopped for a while and then my mom found another therapist for us. After 5 months of going, my stepsister admitted that she'd like an older brother and would like for us to all be closer. Hello?
Just me.
Go away!
Putting something away.
After 5 months of going, my stepsister admitted she'd like an older brother and would like for us all to be closer, but she still wanted nothing to do with my sister, and my sister felt the same. Okay. So she'd like the idea of an older brother, so that would be the OP, the original poster, but she doesn't want anything to do with the sister. Okay. My mom encouraged me to spend less time with my sister and focus on my stepsister more. She was always in my ear telling me I could make such a huge difference in her life and how every little girl deserved an older sibling who looked out for them and loved them. Stuff with my sister and stepsister got worse. They had this really big fight the other week, and my mom said to me at the time that I needed to pick a side in it because doing so will help the other understand how wrong they are. What? She also said it's about loyalty, etc. I ignored her, but she said it twice more after before, and she brought it up for the last time the other night when I told her I side with my sister. She was like, "What do you mean?" And she said that wasn't what I was supposed to say. I told her, she told me to pick a side, and I will always take my sister's side because I love her. She said it sounds an awful lot like I don't love my stepsister. And I said that should come as no surprise. She told me I shouldn't pick my sister just because she's blood related, and I told her the loyalty stuff she talked about. None is with my stepsister. All of it is with my sister. Mom told Johnny, and the two of them are pissed that I took a stance. Am I the axolotl? No! You're a minor. You're a child. You should not have to do anything to make your sister and your stepsister be friends. And it's really not cool of your mom to put that on you as if it is your responsibility to bond together, the family. Listen, okay, I saw Cinderella. I know how stepsisters can be. I'm just kidding. Stepsisters probably, I don't know. When you have a bond that gets naturally created over time, and if that's not being created, the best thing that you can all do is just encourage the two of them to be amicable. They don't have to be best friends. They don't have to act like sisters. Being in a blended family, it has to be tough. I have not experienced that personally, but you know, you've got like lifestyle coming in and all of that is being totally modified and changed, and then, you know, expecting them to bond and be best friends isn't very fair, and expecting you to take a side simply for the fact that they want someone to be right and they want someone to see how wrong they are, like, I just don't, that's not good advice. Mom, what are you doing? No, you are not the axolotl, sir. And I would really, I mean, listen, dude, maybe, okay, get to know your stepsister, because none of this is her fault either. She may be like an enemy of your sister, of your biological sister, but she was also dragged into this by your parents. So don't blame her for all of this, and maybe do take some time to just get to know her as a person. That doesn't have to take away from your actual sister. But also it is, you know, I get the unfairness of the stepsister being like, well, I will never be sisters with you, but I will take an older brother. No, you got to take the whole package, especially while you're all living under the same roof. But no, my dear, you are not the axolotl. Moving on to the next one. Okay. Am I the axolotl for going off on my neighbor for always blocking my driveway? I live in a house now after, you know, it's been 2 years, or it's been a little over a year. I can't math. But my neighbors never block my driveway. And I believe they would ask if they did. But I'm interested in this neighborhood tea, okay? Oh, is this gonna be a Karen tale? Oh, I love Karen tales. Karen tales. Let's all drink for Karen tales. Okay. Am I the axolotl for going off on my neighbor for always blocking my driveway? I, 27 female, have this ongoing issue with my neighbor. Let's call him Steve. Everybody imagine this Steve. Like, I want this Steve to be in, my son's name is Steve and Steven. Imagine this, Steve. Okay. Steve has too many cars for his driveway, and instead of figuring out a solution, he always parks one of them right in front of my driveway. At first, I tried to be polite about it. I'd go knock on his door or ring the bell and ask him to move his car whenever I needed to get out. The problem is half the time he doesn't answer. Well, he's too busy trying to find the clues. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So I'm just standing there wasting time, and on a couple of occasions, I've been late to work because of him. And when I get home after a long day, sometimes I can't even park in my own driveway because his car is in the way. It's infuriating. So it sounds like it's not a situation where the car's just like in or near your driveway. He's actually blocking you from exiting or entering. Got it. Okay. Every time I do manage to catch him, he's all apologetic and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, it won't happen again." But guess what? It always happens again. Last week was the final straw. I had an important meeting at work, and of course, his stupid car was blocking my drive again. I knocked on his door, no answer. I rang the bell, nothing. I was already stressed because I didn't want to be late again, and I just lost it. I started shouting,
Steve, move your car!
over and over, and still nothing. So I stormed back to my car and started laying on the horn, just blaring it nonstop until he finally came out. He looked all annoyed, like I'm the one inconveniencing him. That's when I completely went off. I told him I was sick of this nonsense and that if it happened one more time, I was going to call the city to get his car towed. And of course, this time he said the same. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. I told him, Steve, you say this every time, and every time it's a lie. You need to sort out your car situation because I'm done being nice about this. The thing is, a couple of neighbors were outside or peeking through their windows, so now I feel like I might have embarrassed him more than I needed to. Some friends think I was totally in the right because it's my driveway and he's been taking advantage, but a couple of others said I shouldn't have made such a scene and that I was being an axolotl for losing my temper like that. So am I the axolotl for yelling at my neighbor and embarrassing him, or do I have every right to be mad? I think you have every right to be angry. And I think considering the situation was making you late to an important meeting at work, we've all been there, we're trying to get somewhere and we're running late and it makes us extra cranky. I don't know that you are per se being the axolotl. However, I think some kind of peacemaking activity should be done because you don't want to have beef with your neighbor all the time. I once had a neighbor, okay? She was this little old lady, and she could be very sweet, but she could also be a lot. And this one time, I was so upset that this happened, but the wind blew my car door. We were in an apartment building. We lived in apartments, and her car was here, my car was here, and the wind forced my door open and it hit her car. And I did the right thing. I left a note. I said, we will pay to get it fixed if you want. I keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry. And she just said, oh, be careful because I love this car, but don't worry about it. Okay. So then months later, late at night, like 9:30. Okay, listen, I'm a millennial. We're freaking tired, okay? But like 9:30, she comes knocking on her door. And she goes, did you hit my car? Because there's white paint all over it. And my husband is like, no, we did not hit your car. And she's like, well, you hit it the last time. And he's like, and we did the right thing and told you about it and offered to cover it with our insurance. We did all the right things. And she's like, what about your woman? And I'm on the other side of the door. He is like holding me back because I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. My car doesn't have white paint. I would not beat up an old lady, but it was really uncomfortable and it had nothing to do with us, whereas this situation, it actually has something to do with Steve. But we had to go to our apartment office and ask them to ask her not to harass us at 9:30 at night for things that were not our fault. And it was really uncomfortable. And I just don't want you to have that kind of beef with your neighbor where it becomes you're accusing each other of everything. Because imagine if something like this happened. My sprinklers were on last night. It was you that left them on. And then you're over there like,
why would I touch your sprinklers, Steve?
And then he's like, it is January 1st. Why are your Christmas lights still up? And you're like,
because of New Year's, Steve.
Do you want that forever? So I would offer some kind of peace-making thing, like, just give him some cookies or something and, just be like, please move your car, Steve. Anyway, no, I don't think you're the axolotl, but I do think you may need to do some damage control, even if you're not said axolotl. That is my 2 cents. I don't know why I just bowed. I'm sorry. Next story. Okay, so as of this video being posted, Thanksgiving shall be over. However, this one has to... Oh, hello. This one has to do with Thanksgiving. So, and I love Thanksgiving family drama when it has nothing to do with me. So give me the Thanksgiving turkey tea. That sounds disgusting. Turkey tea. All right. All right. Are you going to help us determine if this Thanksgiving turkey is an axolotl? He says yes. Am I the axolotl for refusing to host Thanksgiving after my sister handed out a family code of conduct contract? I'm so excited for this. Okay, this happened recently and I'm still baffled. For context, I, 32 female, have hosted Thanksgiving for my family every year since I moved into my own house 5 years ago. It's always a little messy and chaotic, but it's part of the charm, right? Right? This year, my sister, 29 female, decided that she wanted to help bring some order to the gathering. Okay. Oh boy. At first, I thought she just meant coordinating who would bring what dishes or helping with cleanup. Instead, she showed up at my house last week with copies of what she called a family code of conduct. Okay. She handed these out and insisted everyone read and sign them before attending Thanksgiving. Some highlights included a rule against overlapping conversations at the dinner table with suggestions for taking turns like a respectful debate club. What? A ban on political or controversial topics with her as the final arbiter as of what was too heated. A dress code of smart casual. What is smart casual? Like dressing like a nerd, like from like Revenge of the Nerds, like what? Because a holiday photo should reflect well on the family. Assigned seating that she claimed was based on optimal personality compatibility. Oh boy, okay. She was completely serious. When I laughed and said, "You can't be serious," she accused me of not taking her efforts to improve family dynamics seriously. I told her I wasn't going to enforce a code of conduct at my house and that if she wanted to micromanage Thanksgiving, she could do it herself. That's exactly what I was thinking. She doubled down, saying I was being ungrateful and stubborn, so I canceled hosting, and now the family is mad at me. Mom thinks I should have just humored her for the day, while my brother, 35 male, is refusing to go anywhere unless no one tries to draft a holiday constitution. I'm torn. Was I wrong for standing my ground, or should I have let her run the day to keep the peace? So is this little turkey the axolotl? No! No, you're not the axolotl. I'm just trying to imagine, because my sister-in-law typically hosts Thanksgiving for like my husband's side of the family every year. Okay, I'm trying to imagine what her reaction would be if I called her up right now and said I've come up with a code of conduct for our holiday festivities at her house. Like she tries to be really nice, so she'd probably be really awkward about it, but I know for a fact she'd be very upset. I know I would 100% hear about it later. This is your house. Someone doesn't get to create the rules in your house unless it's like she's borrowing your house, but she's hosting. But even then, like some of this is very condescending, the way that it's coming across. Like your sister for sure is being the axolotl, if you ask me. But what? Like, I'm sorry, just let me come to your house, but let me enforce all of what I think should be the rules. I think the brother's absolutely right. Like, you shouldn't have a constitution to have Thanksgiving with your family. That is absolutely ridiculous and silly. I don't even know what to do with that. What do you think? Very insightful. Now, the real question here is, what are you supposed to do now that your sister has suggested all of this, but you don't want to do that? Here's a couple of ideas. You could like reverse psychology your sister and like enforce the rules, but make them so crazy obnoxious. There is an episode of I Love Lucy where Ricky puts Lucy on a schedule because she's always running late. And she does really well with the schedule at first, but then she realizes how ludicrous it is for him to like plan out her whole day, right? So she and some other ladies get together and they force the men to be so on schedule that they have no time to eat. They have no time to enjoy like this dinner that they're having. I think you should do something like that, okay? So like have everybody come dressed in smart casual, but like, you know, do what I said, dress like nerds, like dress like Napoleon Dynamite, okay? Smart and casual. And then instead of having political and controversial conversations, just have the most bland, boring conversations and like sit by your person, but act like you hate them. Like get everybody in on it and just make this the worst possible idea that anyone has ever had. I mean, can you imagine this Thanksgiving? Like, you know, everyone's wearing their weird outfits. They're all sitting there being real bland. Yes, the weather is wonderful. This turkey is dry. We have time for one more. Am I the axolotl? Say it with me. Astronautics. It's such a fun word. I don't know. I'm sorry. Am I the axolotl for breaking up with my boyfriend over him making jokes about my music taste? Well, dear, this is going to depend on what the music taste is. I I, 23 female, recently broke up with my now ex-boyfriend of around a year and a half. For some context, I am Korean and he is white. I grew up spending summers with my family in Korea, so from a pretty young age, I started listening to Korean music, or more simply K-pop, okay? Okay, some K-pop's fun, I guess. I don't exclusively listen to it by any means, but it is something that I've really enjoyed. And I'm not really looking for personal opinions or hate on the genre itself. I've gotten enough of that. Okay, listen. All joking aside, the most punk rock thing you can do is just like what you like and not care what anyone thinks. So if K-pop is your jam, then you know what? Go listen to K-pop. Screw what I say, screw what anyone else says, okay? You be you. Listen to your K-pop, okay? My ex-boyfriend took it upon himself every single chance he could to make fun of the whole genre of K-pop, fans of it and me for listening to it. Which is so odd considering that he's literally dating a Korean girl and would constantly watch and listen to anime soundtracks in Japanese because it was peak. What is peak? Is this slang? Is this slang that I don't peak? Oh, what is peak? Hold on. What is peak? Huh? Too quickly to look at something. Oh no, like not peak, but like, haha, okay. I know I'm like peeking at something. The highest or most important point or level. Okay, so like, he thinks that this anime soundtrack stuff is like, yeah, okay, I got it. So he thinks that this is peak, but no, listening to Korean music is weird. Got it. That is a little goofy, bro. Like, if that's really, okay. If it was a boy group, he would mock me for becoming one of those deranged fangirls in love with an idol. And if it was a girl group, he would tease me for having childish interests. I wasn't a teenager anymore. Stop acting like it. Okay, listen, I may be all alternative, okay, but I will rock Baby One More Time, and I have no shame in that. So you shouldn't have shame in what you like either. If I did things like replicating makeup styles from idols I liked, or learning dances, and he would see it, I would never hear the end of it. Pretty much no matter, I just realized I'm blind, okay. Pretty much no matter what, if it was related to K-pop, he would make jokes about it constantly. God forbid I even attempted to play it in front of him. The world might have ended. I spoke with him multiple times about how him constantly making fun of something I was interested in made me feel uncomfortable and bad about myself, and that I wanted him to stop. In response, he would gaslight me and constantly say that he was literally just making a joke and it's not that serious, or swear that he would stop and start again not even a week later, okay? What ended it for me was somewhat recently. I went to a concert for a group I really like, and he was truly relentless. Leading up to the show, he would not stop joking about it. And one time, he made up a rude comment, and I just snapped. Broke up with him on the spot and haven't turned back. Looking back, I'm honestly pretty embarrassed I put up with that treatment for so long. Okay, it is one thing if you've asked him genuinely to stop. Like if something, you know, I think everybody has something that like hurts their feelings that seems ridiculous to everyone else, but like it's your thing. And you have a right to ask someone to stop, like totally okay. Where this post comes into play is I was recently hanging out with a friend, catching up, and the topic of the breakup came up because she knows both of us. She asked what happened and I responded something along the lines of, I felt like there was a lack of respect for me, my boundaries, and my interest. She asked me to explain further and I did, pretty much just what I said here. And she literally started laughing at me. Okay. She was really amused and pretty much like, OMG, you broke up with him over K-pop. That's so stupid. Gosh, you're such an axolotl. Good for you, I guess. To which I reiterated that it was about the fact that he would constantly mock me and his total lack of respect. She again was like, yeah, sure.
Come on, let's be serious for a second, so stop overreacting.
Still giggling to herself. I excused myself and left early. I just feel insane right now because she didn't see my side of things even for a second and really didn't think I was just being dramatic. I mean, I know how bad it made me feel and that I tried to communicate with him about this and it went ignored, so I don't regret ending things with him. But either way, I would appreciate other opinions on this. I mean, was I just being dramatic? Was I taking it too seriously? Okay, not the axolotl. Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. K-pop is not my personal choice of listening. I'm a metal girly, okay? But like I said, sometimes I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna rock it out to Baby One More Time, to Spice Girls, and maybe even Shania Twain. Don't tell anyone. But you have every right to be who you are and to listen to what resonates with you and what brings you joy. That's the whole point of music, is it gives us oxytocin, and happy people don't kill their husbands. Am I right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? And listen, okay, I have the kind of sense of humor that gets taken as mean all the time. Oh boy. So I love to joke around and I love to be sassy, okay? Like, and I sound mean sometimes, but if you know me, you know I'm joking, okay? I had someone write a story and have a character that, quote, joked and everyone felt like they were mean all the time. And it was really awkward to talk to the person who wrote it about me, and it was really hurtful actually, because I'm not a mean person. I just love to joke, and most people get my sense of humor, or at least become accustomed to it, right? However, when someone has asked me to stop, I typically try to stop. Because, you know, I don't have the intention of hurting people. I have the intention of being funny, okay? So if he can't do that for you, if he can't, you know, hear your heart and know that this subject, for whatever reason, is actually really important to you, and honestly, if you don't feel a regret in breaking up with him, it was probably the right thing to do in the first place. Like, so no, I don't think you're being the axolotl. And, you know, coming from your friend's perspective, I feel like if I heard this story and was not in the place where I am like right now to think about it, I might have a similar reaction. Like, what? You broke up with him over K-pop? But it sounds like, no, you didn't break up with him over K-pop. You don't care if he didn't like it. You just didn't want to be insulted every time you tried to enjoy it. Now, I can maybe imagine if the jokes were a lot less, you would have been fine with it. But it sounds like he was absolutely relentless and would not let it go. And then you tried to talk to him and said, hey, it really bothers me. Like, it genuinely bothers me. Please stop. And he was like, no, I don't think you're the axolotl. And I think that your friend, I don't think your friend's a bad person. I think that your friend just really doesn't understand. And probably won't understand. Anywho, okay. So those were some interesting Am I the Axolotl? We really didn't have any axolotls. Oh, my friends are gone. If you liked this video, please let the internet know by hitting that like button and maybe hitting that subscribe button. Right now I have 1 subscriber, so let's make it 2. Like that. 2. Peace. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. That is all I've got for today. I will see you next week for more whatever the heck I'm chit-chatting about. Chit-chat doesn't end badly. Chatting ends badly, but chit-chatting doesn't end badly. Okay, bye.